Good morning and welcome back to Coffee Break. Welcome, Mike, back to Coffee Break.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels good to be needed, even when it's only as a last resort.
You are desperately needed.
Oh, great.
March is National Reading Month, and you would think that for Reading Month we would talk about how much we love books, but that's kind of every episode. So
we have to get a little creative with it.
Yeah, so we're going to change it up by talking about reader problems instead.
So we came up with a list here. We polled a few people in the office too to get some input.
Yep.
But these are things that I think as a reader you'll probably be able to really relate to a lot. So one of the first one I have written down is current. I went on Better World Books last night to order a book, which was recommended to me by Catherine to kind of vindicate her a little bit. So yeah, it's a great site. If you don't order books from there, you should. And I was ordering a old book by John Muir, who's the conservationist.
Yeah.
And so there's like 5-6 editions out there, and I thought, man, I don't know which one to choose. And so this is a problem I've had before, so I was wondering, what's your input? How do you choose which edition?
Obviously, cover is a factor.
That was huge for me. Yeah.
I feel like it would be weird to pick a middle edition. Like, I'd want to either have the original or the most recent.
Right. Like, why pick the second edition? It doesn't have any of the great, nostalgic value of the first one, but it doesn't have any of the great features either. Current, so that makes sense, yeah. How do you decide when to get your books from the library or from the bookstore?
That is hard. Okay, so growing up, always got my books from the library. I mean, we lived walking distance, which was the greatest thing in the world. I just feel like if you didn't grow up walking distance from the library, I can't imagine your childhood.
Oh, man, yeah, I was short driving distance, about 5 minutes, so it was still pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a fuzzy line of when you buy books and when you borrow them.
I think my current rule, without really intending to make it a rule, has been like, if I remember, I check at the library first. But if it's a book that I want to read like right then, like probably the reason I'm looking is because I'm going on a trip over the weekend or something. Yeah. And then if the library doesn't have it, then I'll go buy it.
That's a good
Unless it's one that like I know like it's just fluff and I'm not gonna want it on my shelf. Then I'll be like, okay, pick another one that they have.
Number 4. You walk into a really cool bookstore, as I'm sure we all have at some point. There's a lot out there, and what's your approach? Do you find one book and kind of settle into your little nook and read, or do you just kind of spread your attention throughout the bookstore and check out all the sections and read sparingly?
I'm definitely a browser, because I feel like if I'm around all of these books and if my goal is to buy one, then I want like all of the information before I choose one. And so I feel like if I just start reading and sit there and read the first one that I have, first of all, I'm cheating on the bookstore because I'm just reading it instead of buying it. And second of all, it's like, no, but I need to get a book, and maybe this isn't the one, maybe there's another one.
I think I usually agree 100%.
Okay.
I have one experience in a bookstore in Ann Arbor. I can't remember the name of it, but it was really cool, and I just kind of settled into between these tiny little narrow shelves and read for at least half an hour or something. And it was kind of nice. But
I mean, I guess I would read if I had a book in mind already. It was like, I want to get this. I'm gonna buy it, but I have time, so I'll just sit here and read and then buy it when I leave.
Makes sense. Oh, reading while staying warm. All right, so this is good for the wintry months.
Positions in general.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Like reading while laying down outside, etc.
Yeah. I feel like you could use gloves, but that seems dumb, and it's all you don't have a good grip on it. But
tactile maneuvering is very important in reading. Turning the pages, you can stop the flow of reading if you can't turn them fast enough.
See, this is actually one of the pros of ebooks. I just recently started reading ebooks, and it's easier to hold, and you can turn the page with one finger. So that's nice for cold and being under the blanket. I'm
still not a convert yet to e-reading. I still have a flip phone and everything, so I'm kind of, a relative.
You're not a convert to technology.
Exactly, yeah. What about in general, like when you're outside, maybe doing some nature reading or something like that, like
yeah,
you roll
it's
out a
hard to be
blanket or
comfortable.
whatever.
This is going to become a problem really soon because once it finally gets warm out.
Yeah, exactly.
want to be outside all the time.
I'm sure that'll be your first stop.
Is shut in.
Going outside. That's gonna be my first stop. I'm gonna pack up my rucksack, go into the woods, and
I just
read.
sit like in the sunny spot on my porch. Like we have a porch swing, but it can get shaded, and I'm like, I need all of the sun I can get, so I'll just sit on the steps.
Right. And usually the sunglasses suffice to block out the sun, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you use the book to
But it
shade
is harder
yourself.
to get comfy because there aren't lazy boys outside.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so another problem. You're partway through a book. You're not feeling it. You know, it's kind of just seems like maybe it's not going anywhere and it's not of your taste. So do you keep going or do you drop out while you still can?
I don't really have a rule. I think it just depends on my mood. Like, I used to finish every single book that I started, and then I kind of had a phase where it's like, I have to finish it, and so I would like not quit, but I'd start another book and then never come back, and so I'd be like, no, okay, I need to be honest with myself.
Kind of like passive quitting rather than active quitting. That makes sense.
But I think it really depends. Like, sometimes I'll be like, well, there's not that much left. It's gonna get better. And sometimes I'm just like, nope, this has become work, and reading doesn't need to be work.
Yeah, I think that's an important consideration. At the point where you realize you don't really like the book, I think it actually takes a lot longer to get through, and it might do long-term damage to your love of reading if that's a possibility. I don't know.
I think that's pretty good.
We solved most of our problems.
Yeah, or at least
the major ones.
Vented about
Vented, right? Yeah, these are problems that are not necessarily solvable. They're timeless problems.
Yeah.
Okay, so
please let us know your reader problems in the comments, and let us know if you have other solutions to our problems.
Please, yeah, exactly. So thanks for being with us, and
we'll see you next week.
Great.
I guess you won't.